What's up guys, and welcome back to another video. In today's video, we're going to be taking a look at some of the most interesting, viral, and strange TikToks. If you guys happen to enjoy this video and or this channel, do me a huge favor and hit that thumbs up and or hit that subscribe button. Let's get into it.
So Harry Potter was hallucinating the whole time. This theory goes that since Harry was suffering from so many different things like psychological abuse, neglect, being starved and kept in a closet, he created an escape in his mind, which was Hogwarts and being a wizard. So he could exist in this magical world where he was important, he had friends, and he had a purpose other than being discarded in a corner of someone's house underneath the stairs. People even point to the conversation with Dumbledore at one point whenever Harry is dead, where Harry asked Dumbledore, "Is this real or has this just been happening inside of my head?" Where Dumbledore replies, "Of course it's happening inside your head, but Harry, why on earth should it mean that it's not real?" So maybe none of it happened and it's just in Harry's head. Peter Pan is the Grim Reaper. This is either a theory that Peter Pan is the Grim Reaper or an angel that held kids' hands as they went up to heaven, which was Neverland. And that's why they never grew up. It's because they all were dead. Another dark theory is that Peter used to kill his Lost Boys whenever they became adults, and Hook and the pirates were just Lost Boys that escaped and survived. And that for some reason, Peter Pan had this weird psychological rule that if you get too old, you have to be taken out. Doc Brown wanted to kill Marty McFly. This is less of a theory and more of a observation because it's true. In the Back to the Future movie, whenever Doc is first testing the DeLorean time machine, he has Marty film it, and Doc wants him to stand directly in front of the car with him so that either the time machine works and they both survive, or it doesn't work and they get hit by a car going like 90 miles an hour, which would very likely kill both of them. You can even see Marty try to dodge out of the way of the car, and Doc actually pulls him back into the way of it so that I guess he was just gonna take Marty with him. Either it worked or him and Marty were gonna die. Cars disturbing homunculus theory. This is a theory that every car in Cars is actually not necessarily a car, but had humans that were engineered to operate them inside. This explains why all the cars in the movies behave like humans, have human personalities, intelligence like humans, and culture like humans. Basically, people think that they would take a normal car and install a living human being inside of it to operate it and be its circulatory system, essentially. And people would sit in there vertically and have tubes that took care of their bodily processes, and their eyes would be hooked up to a magnifying lens thing that projected them onto the windshield. And they also had their mouth and nose hooked up to a way to breathe, but also had sensors to show their mouth moving. And this is really weird, and I don't like it. But you know, like there's the Pixar theory that all Pixar movies are connected and in the same universe. So maybe this is some weird post-apocalyptic thing where after the movie WALL-E, people returned to Earth, but they couldn't survive there without being in a vehicle, and now they're all in a vehicle, and now they're all cars, and maybe they don't even know they're cars. I hate this. Willy Wonka was trying to kill the children, specifically in the 1971 Gene Wilder Willy Wonka in the Chocolate Factory movie. It seems like Willy Wonka sets up his factory specifically to tempt kids into either doing things or going into places where they will die. Like Augustus Loop very obviously was likely going to drown or suffocate in the chocolate and then inside of the tube. He probably did. And even whenever his mom tries to get him to help, he just doesn't even want to. He acts like it's not a big deal that the kid's gonna die. And then, like, you know, Violet exploded, the other one burned, and the other one got smashed or something. But you get the idea. Even though, you know, in the movies, a lot of the movies, it shows them leaving the factory, people think it was just kind of lightened up to make the movie a brighter movie. And then even Charlie was supposed to die whenever he went into the fan room and drank the thing that made him float. And then at the very end of the movie, whenever they got into the glass elevator and they were going to go through the roof, maybe this was Willy Wonka trying to end it all. Because even he said he had no idea what was going to happen, and he didn't know if they were going to bust through the roof or if the whole thing was just gonna disintegrate. Thank you guys for watching a really long video.
He's constantly surrounded by law enforcement. He's in shackles. He was wearing a vest today. Some looked like I don't even know what it looked like, but a very serious vest with his legs shackled and his arms shackled. And so he's being treated differently because he's being held in federal custody than any other person who would be facing serious murder one charges in New York State court. And I made a record in court today that I don't understand what this show of danger is for. He is being treated differently because of this unusual and frankly just the fact that he's being prosecuted by 3 jurisdictions for one event. It all is about one thing.
This is the reason they distract us with sports and celebrities.
This is exactly why I don't watch sports.
My man is about to drop truth bombs. Watch this.
The reason why the Romans used to say that if you want to keep people distracted, you simply give them bread and circuses.
They don't want you to question the system.
Because they knew that if people were fed and entertained, then they wouldn't question anything and they wouldn't think for themselves. And you see, modern day sports is the exact same thing. People yell at TVs, they memorize stats, they argue over other players, and they even wear another man's last name on their back to vicariously live through them.
Remember, idolization is a very dangerous thing, yo.
You see, all of these things happen because they want to keep us distracted and weak. Because when you have something great going on in your life, you simply do not have time to partake in bread and circuses.
You're gonna drive yourself crazy worrying about the state of the world. Try to worry about things that only you can control. As always, thank you for watching. Let me know what you think. Stay weird.
Did you see that news story recently that was it happened in Spain? This woman was doing a experiment and she was going to be living in a cave underground for 500 days. The only human interaction she had was, I think it was like weekly or monthly visits from doctors just to check on her, and that was it. And they wouldn't update her on anything. They wouldn't tell her what day it was. They would not do anything. And so she laid under there. There's videos of her doing like workouts and exercises and stuff and vlogging, pretty much just telling her experience.
Right?
No sun at all. 500 days. Then they pull her out and she's like almost resisting because she thinks it's only been, what she's been tracking, only been 120, 150 days. She only believed it only had that many days had passed.
She just lost complete
lost time, everything. I mean, imagine your sleep cycles, how messed up they would be. Absolutely terrifying. Think about being alone in a cave for 500 days.
Nope.
Do you see those cave exploring videos, like when they're crawling?
We talked about this before on the podcast, but it gives me so much anxiety. Have you seen those videos?
A la verga.
Bro, they're sending Marines to the border? That's crazy. Dang.
Microsoft has unveiled Majorana 1, the world's first quantum chip powered by topological core technology. What's the big deal? It's built with a topoconductor, an entirely new state of matter that isn't a solid, liquid, or gas, but topological. This breakthrough lets them create Majorana particles which protect and stabilize data at the quantum level. Picture it this way. In the past, tiny disturbances could knock qubits out of sync, ruining calculations. Now, thanks to Majorana 1, there can be more stable and scalable qubits that can fit on a single chip, leading toward the magic goal of 1 million qubits. This opens the door to solving challenges no classical computer can handle, from eliminating microplastics in our oceans to engineering self-healing materials for bridges, buildings, and healthcare devices. This new quantum power, teamed with AI, could mean designing the perfect product on the first try every time, cutting guesswork and unlocking a world of innovation. Microsoft's bold approach, built on nearly 2 decades of topological research, proves that the future of quantum isn't decades away. It's just around the corner. This redefines what is possible with a new state of matter, a new type of chip, and a clear path to real-world impact.
Could you imagine playing GTA 6 on that CPU? Hella frames. Yeah, that's a pretty scary sound. I thought there was no sound in space though. Yeah, dude, that most definitely looks like an eye. Oh, look, this comment right here. What does he say? What if that's a real eye from a different being looking into our universe? Damn.
What in the fuck is this? This video has emerged shot from a passenger on a United flight from Newark to Tampa. This ain't no drone. That's a goddamn flying saucer, if I've ever seen one. Now, it's so almost too good to be true that immediately I think, well, it's AI generated or VFX. Because, 2025, that's always an assumption, even though this looks very real to me. So I ran it through Hive, the deep fake and the AI detector and VFX detector. Look at the score it got. This looks very real.
Did you guys hear that our pole shifted and that's why our planes can't fly? And the pole shift did happen. That was confirmed by NASA a little less than a year ago. And it did make news, but it just got buried in the news and it wasn't talked about very much. Now, 6 months since NASA has announced that news, we have experiencing the northern lights visible in East Tennessee. It snowed in Florida. In Australia, just today, 150 false killer whales beached themselves. This is the first time we've ever seen that species beach themselves in 50 years. And the pole shift, it affects a lot. It affects a lot, including Earth's magnetic field. Earth's magnetic field protects us from things like space radiation. When Earth's magnetic field gets disrupted, which occurs when the poles shift, it does cause a little bit of disruption within that magnetic field. When that happens, you will notice things like animals no longer having their internal compass. You will also notice random plane crashes or issues with planes. Earth's magnetic field being disrupted could also result in extreme weather. Also today, it was announced that NASA just confirmed some cities along the San Francisco Bay are sinking at an alarming rate.
I don't know if the poles shifting have anything to do with plane crashes. I mean, it might, but if that was the case, I think a lot more would be crashing. A lot of planes have been crashing, but I think a lot more. Like, it would be way more than that, because there's a way more, like, dude, there's so many planes out there. Like, there's flights going on today that are perfectly fine.
Now, this is a sphinx that got covered in mud from Noah's flood. All these mud floods happen worldwide. It was a flood in Noah. You could see it push mud up over the sphinx right here. It dried like concrete. The sphinx is sitting on top of a whole entire temple right here. You can see where the sediment gets pushed up, even on the steps that came in sideways, and mud wiped out this whole entire temple. These sphinxes are found all over the world, okay? Whether it's in Egypt, Greece, India. There's even one in the Grand Canyon. That's the Sphinx in Balo Christian that got flooded. This is the Sphinx in Egypt. This is the one sitting in the Grand Canyon. You can see the Sphinx had its head knocked off somewhere. It's probably buried behind it in sediment. And that's a pyramid behind the Sphinx covered in mud. Okay? All these Sphinxes and pyramids are sitting on top of that temples, the same temples that were in Balo Christian. See right here how that Sphinx in Balo Christian is sitting on top of it. So that's going to be like your Greek and Roman ancient pillar columns right there that run across like a Colosseum. And that's going to be another top of a temple right there. That's why when they excavated out the Sphinx in Egypt, they found all kinds of chambers and tunnels underneath, because that Sphinx is sitting on top of a temple. You see, this whole area got flooded out, but it pushed sand up in Egypt instead of mud. This is all water damage on the surface right here. 3 generations of stonemasons. The first thing I was taught to see was water damage on a stone surface. This stuff deposited sediment so thick that nothing's going to grow through it for thousands of years, okay? That's why you only see small brush and shrub growing through it, because it's literally concrete that dried. At the top, that's a temple on the other side of the Sphinx in Pakistan, okay? This is all off the coast of Hingol National Park. Right here on the bottom, that's a temple in the next country over for reference, because that's what got flooded, was an ancient temple. They line up perfectly. Same site, Balochistan, Pakistan. That's a temple right there, covered in concrete, dried. All them horizontal lines running across, those are the water level lines from the water dropping. Okay, and it cut into the sediment and left them patterns. I could do this all day. This is another temple. These are all temples underneath this. You could drill into this and it will be open on the inside of it, because the mud only got so far into it. They poured every single one of these pillars with special concrete. These were not carved out of mountains, shaped and casted and poured these with concrete. That does not age or weather. They used a different formula than what we're using today. This is a statue right here on the other side of the Balo Christian site, okay? They all wanted to be worshipped as gods, so they flooded them all out. This happened worldwide. Now I'm going to take you to the petrified forest in Arizona. This is all petrified wood right here at the surface, okay? This whole entire site flooded, brought the wood to the surface, and that's why all this is sitting on top. That only happens from water right there, okay? The mineralization like that occurs only from being in water. Behind that, on the other hill right there, that's your temple right there. This whole site has buried temples underneath it, okay? These are water level lines going across the mud sediment, creating these erosion lines or mineral deposit looking marks. Just look at this. Look how big some of these tree structures are. This one looks like a giant bone. Just like this one. This is a guy standing at the end for reference, okay? This could very well be the petrified giants from the flood wiped out all the Nephilim. This is the Grand Canyon right here. This was all flooded out. There's temples all inside of here. There was an ancient civilization buried in the Grand Canyon. What we see now is just the water the stream left from cutting all this out.
There's a theory why they actually took down TikTok for that little period.
Why?
Apparently, like, they didn't even have to ban, or they didn't have to take it down.
Okay.
Because they never got like a notice from the government saying, yo, let's take it down. So them taking it down was almost the litmus test to see how it would go.
Okay.
If that makes sense to you.
Yeah.
Now, the theory is, the reason they did that though was because there's too many real conspiracies on the app that were becoming way too popular.
Okay.
And they just wanted to reset everybody's algorithm.
Word.
So a lot of people on TikTok right now, they're saying they used to have all of these TikToks of conspiracy theories, LA fires, Diddy, Luigi, and there was so much at once.
Yeah.
And it's hard to stop that from becoming popularized if that's what's going viral, right? So what happens to everyone's For You page? Goes deeper and deeper into conspiracy, into almost like breaking down government secrets.
Because that's what the algorithm would feed that person.
Exactly. And it's popularizing that mindset of looking like that.
That's crazy. They just don't want man's informed. Like,
exactly.
Yeah.
So what people are saying was that reset was to make everybody's For You page different.
Okay.
And to change everyone so that they can just push more whatever.
Yeah. It's crazy because like usually I do my research on TikTok before I come in the podcast, like some YouTube, some TikTok, but like directly TikTok. And there were some conspiracy theorists that I usually like take, like I research stories from, And yo, you have to, it's like they're shadow banned. Like you gotta search for them. But I actually had to search up his profile, like his whole name, type in his whole name.
Yeah.
But we're literally an experiment for them. We get to experiment new technology, new apps that they make, and see how, you know, we react to them. If they were as far as trying to do MK Ultra and mind control and all these other crazy things, you really think they wouldn't try to do that through these apps that we use? Like, I feel like TikTok is a social experiment, and it's like getting people addicted to it, and they took it down for that one day to see how people would react to it, cold turkey quitting. And how did people react? They were in an outrage. They deleted every other social media, Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat. They deleted everything just because of that. That's how bad TikTok has people in a chokehold. But I don't know why nobody wants to talk about that, or nobody ever like addresses that. I'm the only one, and anytime I comment that on TikTok, no, it's like nobody sees my comment. But let me know what you guys feel about that, and if you guys actually listen to what I said. Do you guys agree with me, or do you guys think I'm reaching with that one? But even if you guys do think I'm reaching, it's still pretty interesting and kind of crazy to think about, because like I said, TikTok's only been out for a couple years, and it's the most booming app on the marketplace, or should I say the app store.
I'm going to continue to post these types of videos until we start learning who we are as a people. And my reason behind that is we are the reason they brought the Africans over here. They couldn't break us. They couldn't beat us down. They couldn't make us work in the fields because we were already here when they got here, and we knew the land better than them. And let's just get this clear. I don't even know how y'all managed to get that lie about transporting millions of Africans to the Americas in the first place. Common sense, people. They had between 60 to 100, maybe 200 at the most people in the bottom of them ships. These are wooden ships. These are wooden ships. And they're coming across the Atlantic Ocean. For those of y'all who don't know, the Atlantic Ocean is very hard to cross. Our hurricanes come up through the Atlantic. The tornadoes, all that stuff we deal with in the United States, it comes up through the Atlantic Ocean. You're on the bottom of a boat. You're 10 to 12 inches from the person on top of you. And when I say on top of you, he's laid straight out on top of you, as if you guys were both in two different caskets. Now, you got to spend from 6 to 9 months on your back in this position with this person 6 to 12 inches over you, 6 to 12 inches under you, stacked as high as 10 people. During this time, not only are you 6 to 12 inches apart, face, you're laying flat on your back. Okay? When you lay flat on your back, stuff starts to coagulate. Your body changes. You're on the Atlantic Ocean. It's a very violent ocean. You're on your back. You're from Africa. You're not a sailor. You're not used to this type of thing. So you're probably seasick. You got women. They on their back too, right over you. Having their menstrual cycles. These people are chained together. These people are 6 to 12 inches from each other, stacked in columns of 10, shitting and pissing and having menstrual cycles on each other for a period from 6 to 9, sometimes longer months. And one of the world's most violent oceans.
Caught me off guard.
There is no way in hell you brought that many people over here. You would have had to have ideal conditions. I spent 30 years in the Navy. The Atlantic Ocean is never in an ideal condition. And if you think so, think about Katrina. Came through the Atlantic Ocean. The thing that bothers me the most as an American, we don't know who we are. They started calling us African Americans in 1988 because of Jesse Jackson. We were known as American Indians, as Tanos and Meridians. We have a various name. There's over 2 million American Indian tribes missing. They either got killed off by chicken pox or syphilis, or they went back down, or they fought in the wars. Christopher Columbus' clan, the British people, got here in the 1800s. Before they got here, Spanish was already here. The French were already here. The Dutch were already here. The history that's being taught to you is British history. It's not ours. I'm from Alabama. The tribe I came from, the area I come from, Alabambuas. I'm from Eufaula, Alabama. We're called Eufalas. But I never learned that in school. I learned that from doing research at college about who I am, because I had questions about who I am. Most of y'all should have some questions about who you are. In Alabama, you fall on the Catawba Treaty. The Catawba Treaty says Barber County, Alabama, is for Indians. What most people don't know when they read history book today, when they said Indians, they meant black people. The natives of the day were not on the East Coast. The natives of the day were not even down in the 50 states. They was up by Alaska. And if you look at the state of Alaska, for those of you who didn't pay attention in school, Alaska is as big as half of the United States. That's pretty damn big and pretty far away for real. It's so far away, it's closer to Russia than it is to you, and it's our country. Do your research. Look up the Catawba Treaty. The Catawba treaties in the United States take precedence. They're law. They're law. If you're Mexican, you probably fall under one of those treaties. But you don't know because a lot of people went back down south. We came up through the Yucatan. The Mayans, the Incas, the Aztecs, the Olmec, that's us. That's us. You look like you look because you are in a diaspora of Spanish people. Spanish people are white Mexican. You're a mulatto. You're a mulatto. Look at you. Look at your life. Look at your people. And then look at the so-called African American. We have the same social issues. We have the same health issues. Hell, your mixed kids look like our mixed kids. A lot of people can't tell who we are. We are one and the same. And we need to get together because we need our country. We need our country. And when I say we need our country, I mean, and this is no hard feelings toward anybody. I don't hate anybody. I don't care. But the so-called natives are on our land and they're claiming to be me. You're not me. You're not me. Because I would never be on a plantation, reservation, knowing what I know about my history. See, it's easy for you to do. You didn't do the Trail of Tears. And oh, for you people running around here talking about your Cherokee Creek, Muskegon, they were black tribes. So you're black. They don't teach our history. The majority of the people that call themselves Creek and Cherokee and Chickasaw and all that, they're not even that. Those were the tribes we were forced to join because they either killed off our tribe or they left. Look into your history, people, and stop letting people tell you things. Go read for yourself. Think of it like this right here. We're brilliant. And you know we're brilliant because they made a law that said not to teach us how to read. If you didn't think I can learn to read, you would have never came up with that law. You don't see no laws around here saying don't teach dogs how to read because we know dogs would never learn how to read. They don't teach our history. They know who we are. We don't know who we are.
Dude, Kendrick made a song talking about an imaginary daughter, and no one cares. Nobody cares. Oh, but if Drake did... Oh, dude, if Drake fucking did that, what the fuck would the Kendrick fans be saying, bro? Dude. And Drake responded to every single thing that was said about him. Kendrick responded to nothing and had pre-recorded diss tracks. He didn't even fucking go back and forth. The guy had pre-recorded diss tracks. Drake was the only one genuinely in a fucking rap battle. Genuinely. Like, I hear a song, I respond.
A lot of the Kendrick fans ride so deep for him that I'm pretty sure they don't even care.
Can bring you newly released images from our defence force of 3 Chinese warships now sitting off the coast of Sydney. While their exact location hasn't been disclosed, the ships are around 150 nautical miles off the coast, around the same distance as a trip from Sydney to Canberra, in a move being described as an aggressive demonstration of power.
Monitoring every move of 3 Chinese warships, naval and air force assets have been deployed from Australia and New Zealand to watch a frigate, cruiser and replenishment vessel navigating within our nation's exclusive economic zone. The federal government says the presence of the ships, equipped with missile tubes, is not unprecedented but is unusual.
Clearly, it's an aggressive statement and a statement of intent.
This is provocative, old-school gunboat diplomacy.
The ships were first detected last week in international waters off northeast Queensland.
Chinese naval ships are complying with international law. But as we do, we are monitoring the situation and observing what is going on.
It's been labelled a deliberate demonstration of influence and control in the South Pacific and a sign of what's to come.
We don't need to be worried about these 3 particular Chinese warships, but we should be very concerned about what it tells us about the future.
All I'm gonna say is, what would America do if they came towards this area with those types of warships?
We are not in the business of giving out money, and honestly, I don't know what $5,000 will do for you.
Bitch, what? You mean to tell me you ain't in the business of giving away money? What the fuck is the immigrants then? Bitch, what the fuck is the immigrants? Huh? You don't give away fucking money? What is USAID? Bitch, what is that? Bitch, what is that? Huh? You don't give away no motherfucking money. These people are fucking crazy. This is a fucking clown world we live in. Am I retarded? Am I the one slow? Because you can't make me believe I didn't hear them people say they was gonna give away $25,000 to new people to get fucking houses. You can't make me believe that. That sound like giving away some fucking money, Jasmine. That sound like we're giving away shit, Jasmine Crockett. You stupid, batshit motherfucker! Take the dumbass wig off, bitch! Take the wig off!
I could tell you what $5,000 would do for me. It'll definitely help me catch up on some fucking bills, that's for sure. Like, what world does she live in, or how much money does she make, I should say, to where she thinks $5,000 isn't gonna do anything for the average person? I get $5,000 is really not that much money, but it kind of is though. You know how many people like would be so appreciative and literally thankful if they were to get 5,000 right now?
Is Maine here, the governor of Maine? Are you not going to comply with it?
I'm complying with state and federal laws.
We are the federal law. Well, you better do it. You better do it because you're not going to get any federal funding at all if you don't. And by the way, your population, even though it's somewhat liberal, although I did very well there, your population doesn't want men playing in women's sports. So you better comply because otherwise you're not getting any federal funding.
See you in court.
Every state, good, I'll see you in court. I look forward to that. That should be a real easy one. And enjoy your life after governor because I don't think you'll be in elected politics. Every state has a responsibility to comply with Title IX. They have an obligation, a legal obligation. And we'll be enforcing aggressively, and we're going to be protecting our citizens. We're going to protect.
I don't know why that's so hard of a concept to understand. Like, men are men, women are women. Women should play amongst women, men should play amongst men. Men should be imprisoned amongst other men, women should be imprisoned amongst other women. It's as simple as that. Like, just like everything has been since 50 years ago. You know what's crazy is like 10, 15, I don't even think that long, but a couple years ago, this wasn't even a conversation. But this is what happens when you feed into somebody's delusion. What I'm thinking is maybe a lot of her supporters are the trans community and they're for what she's trying to go for. And that's why she's trying to make it seem like she's upset, because there's no way that she's actually upset about this, right?
If everything goes smoothly, I'm gonna watch a car fly over another car.
You can actually use it today, and you can cut your commute at least in half, if not more.
Jim Duchovny says his company Aleph Aeronautics was able to create something we've been dreaming about since the Jetsons. And while not quite ready for the road, Duchovny says the flying car is about to take off. NBC News was given exclusive access to see their concept model with our own eyes. Sure enough, we watched it soar through the air over another car and land. But for all the magic of this moment, we were heavily restricted, forced to shoot at least half a football field away, and we never actually saw the driver entering or exiting the vehicle.
We still have some IP, intellectual property, which we're trying to protect.
But practicality might be where the rubber meets the sky.
It's going to be slow, incremental approach, which is good for legal integration, which is good for consumer integration.
But he says, as demand grows, regulations will catch up with the tech.
Dude, it seems like we've barely perfected airplanes now all of a sudden, so I don't think we need anything else flying in the sky anytime soon. Although it's a cool concept and it looks more like a drone and it has to be real lightweight, it's pretty cool, but definitely not something that we need right now.
She was caught accidentally using her powers.
Wait, what?
Hello. Okay.
There we go.
Okay, but it does oh my god. Oh, sorry. Sorry.
It's all right.
I couldn't do that again if I tried.
One of the celebrities that played a witch recently,
Ariana Grande?
yeah, was on Hot Ones. She like had a chicken wing, dropped it, but people are saying she used like telekinesis.
Is it? Am I tripping?
When she dropped it, because the chicken wing flipped, bro, and it like hovered over. And it still doesn't make sense to me.
Are you sure it just didn't fall like a wrong way?
Watch it.
She's looking really skinny, right? Like she's looking like kind of like strangely skinny. I don't remember her being this thin.
What the fuck are you? It did a kickflip, Gavin.
Oh yeah, it did do a kickflip.
It did a kickflip, pop shove it. Nah. So this is what happened. Theory. She's on Hot Ones. She's not in the right mindset because the food's too spicy.
Yeah.
So she accidentally used her powers without thinking about it, bro.
I don't know. Maybe she's a witch. But what I'm also thinking is, when you ever grabbed like, have you ever grabbed a wing that's like kind of saucy, and when you pick it up, it like slips out of your finger and your thumb kind of like hits it with one of those, and it kind of just launches. Maybe she did that. Or I mean she did play a witch role recently, you know. She's looking pretty thinner.
You know what else is under the authority of the crown?
What?
Disney World in Orlando, Florida.
What does that mean? How?
Ron DeSantis was trying to take away their self-governing, because Disney has always been like a self-governing entity within Florida, so they don't pay the taxes that major businesses in Florida do. They started getting into politics. Disney was like, he's like, if you're going to get into politics, let's get into politics. But Ron DeSantis lost that battle because it came out that Disney's like, hey, why don't you just read this piece of paper that we have? It says, we are under the Royal Family Clause, which basically means Disney World within Florida, the land is owned by the Royal Family of England.
How?
They did some sort of exchange.
They would have had to have like given the land to the crown, and now it's protected.
They basically said the U.S. cannot tax what is the royal families.
Why? Why do they own U.S. land? Get out of here! Come on!
What's the Florida version of the Boston Tea Party?
We go to Epcot and we just trash the UK part.
Yeah, we just like.
See, I feel like there's insights to how the system works that they don't let us know. Like there's legal ways that we can like do things, like crazy things like them, but we don't know about it because we don't make up these rules, right? Only they know about them for the most part. But like this is a great example of how they milk the system and how they like get around and like, you know, like it's just crazy. It blows my mind the things that some of these like higher up people get away with. And I'm pretty sure that some of us could get away with it too if we knew about it or how to do it. But then again, probably not.
Is there any way we can bring in some cloud cover? This isn't spring break. We need somber.
Copy that. Let's try this one. There you go.
Thank you.
Tower out.
I believe this 100%, 1,000%, if you will.
Oh, no, 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 no. Tower, you're seeing this airplane just crash into you.
Damn.
Oh my god.
Hope they're alright.
Oh my god.
It seems like a lot of planes have been having so many issues lately because there's no way. Like, just a year ago, there was not, like, let me correct that. Just a couple months ago, last year, none of this was even a thing. I mean, it wasn't like not happening, but it was rare for it to happen, especially like it is now.
They're gonna try to sacrifice Kendrick.
Oh, it's Jaguar right. There's a recent interview she done, and this is really scary because she's talking about Kendrick Lamar.
She always talks truth though.
She talks truth?
Yes.
This prediction will be crazy if it happens.
She always talks
But hopefully this doesn't happen.
They're gonna try to sacrifice Kendrick.
Oh.
Don't say that. I do. I think they're gonna try to sacrifice Kendrick. I think that's what the Super Bowl is all about.
Crazy.
Whoa.
And I don't want to hear you say that because you be saying it be coming to pass.
Yes, fam.
Like not Kendrick.
Is she saying that?
Person to move right now.
Man, that hurt my soul.
That's a good point. Who would be a crazy person to remove right now?
Why is she so creepy when she talks?
He's waking too many people up. He's talking pure facts. You know, he's an artist who knows how to rap very well. He is an artist first, but he is a true believer in
Take
God.
Tupac.
Yeah. He's a Hebrew.
Man.
Crazy. Hopefully not.
Nah, because why is this actually kind of scary? Do our robots really like need to look human? Like, do they really gotta look like us? Why can't they look like a cartoon character or something? Why can't it be cute like Big Hero 6? Right? It's always gotta be something terrifying.
Thanks for stopping all for those people. You know I'm recording.
Dude, I love Jack Black.
The whole strip down there, like,
yeah, it's true.
It's crazy because Tampa is like, is like untapped. Miami's cool, but like Tampa is like,
yeah, that's where the crazy.
It's got a vibe though to it. It's like a little Miami, but a little, you know,
like a little ghetto, a little Miami, a little
more,
country,
a little more realer too.
Yeah.
Than Miami, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I agree.
You
like living out here more.
This nigga
like
just switched the voice.
This is like we're up there, so I already know all the people. It just got old, you know what I mean?
Like what part of LA you live in?
Is that your real voice?
That's my real voice.
That's not his voice.
Did it just get significantly lower?
Nah, I was saying like what part of LA you live in.
Wait, hold on.
Kendrick, when he was rapping on stage, started singing peekaboo in the X. Why? Because he's trying to say Drake killed X.
80 pointers like a Kobe game.
Where did he do it? The 30-yard line. 30-yard line. What's the Roman numeral? Roman numerals of 30 is X, X, X.
Also, he had 2 of Drake's X's plus the X on stage.
Yeah.
X, X, X. What was Tentacion known for? Split hair, the black dreads, the blonde dreads.
Yeah.
If you notice the backup dancers,
did they have that?
A split of black, and they also had red.
Oh my god.
When Kendrick opened, how did he look like rapping? He was like this.
He was crouched down just like the XXL freestyle.
The freestyle,
yeah.
We circulate through us. Everybody must be judged. Fear will be plentiful. Death will be bountiful. I will spend none of
Everyone thought Kendrick's chain, the small A, was for A minor. No, it's not. It's for PJ Lang. Kendrick.
That's his brand.
Who is Drake signed under? Sony. So it's PJ Lang versus Sony, the controller. That was like a double entendre.
Oh, shit.
When Kendrick was backstage after his performance, did you realize what he was wearing? He had a diamond binky, put it in his mouth, and he started dabbing hands up.
Like a pacifier?
Yeah, like a pacifier, because
like as a baby,
yeah,
as a kid.
Yeah.
Oh.
Sick Drake. I hit you like I'm young.
And he wore a t-shirt, keep those people away from me.
You know how in the back, when they had game over at the very end?
There was another one.
Yeah.
Wrong way or something?
Yeah.
Remember when Uncle Sam was like,
deduct one life.
Deduct one life.
And then he goes into the X and then starts singing peekaboo, referencing X.
Nah, I think they're actually onto something, because why is that actually making sense? Like I say, I don't think anything's a coincidence. I don't think anything ever is a coincidence, especially when it comes to things like this. But I don't know, maybe it could be a coincidence. What do you guys think?
person that just purchased Twitter, making a brain chip company. He's also a major contractor to the U.S. military. He has a major conflict of interest with Chinese Silicon Valley equivalents like Tencent.
He says his work is to find a way to compete against the transhumanistic, No. You don't believe that at all?
I don't buy it, no. If you look at that company, they had animal trials. Many of the monkeys that was tested and died after the brain chip was put in. They're selling this as one way. It's all going to be a utopian thing if we all upgrade. I mean, that's how it's being framed, right? But if you look at how these people think, they don't want that. They're looking at feudalism and how do you create a class of slaves that cannot even cognitively rebel ever again. And then you have people like Elon Musk coming in and saying, I want to take over Twitter for free speech. And then he also says, I want to make Twitter into basically like WeChat, which is, basically a surveillance app to use in China. That's for your finances, your social media, pretty much everything is on that app. They even call it the Everything app, and that's his model. And the parent company of that, Tencent, is one of Tesla's shareholders and most active advisors.
So, one simulation hack you may or may not have noticed is that you can trigger an event that will force the simulation to start generating activity around you. So I peeked through my windows just a few moments ago and I saw there was no traffic, there are no neighbors, nothing is happening. But as soon as I step out into this section of the simulation, activity will begin. Let's test it out. Yep, here it goes. There's one. Number two. Number three. Number four. Works every time. Here comes another one. Now I've got neighbors walking at night. Never happens. Number five. Every time. So, one way you could test this yourself is to get in your car and head over to the interstate. I like to drive on the bridge above the interstate, look both directions, no cars for miles. Here comes another one. 6, I don't know. Look, this way, 7. Happens every time. Like I was saying, no cars for miles, but as soon as you get on the on-ramp to get on the interstate, all of a sudden you see you're surrounded by cars. A group of cars has manifest around you. Test it. Try it. Let me know. Here comes another one. What are we on, 7? Happens every time. 7 or 8 cars in the space of 1 minute from me walking out. Like I said, you can test this yourself. Peek out the windows before you step outside. No activity. But as soon as you step outside, all of a sudden, neighbors, animals, cars, activity. I've even saw a flock of seagulls. It's not even time for seagulls. One more. Haters will say that it's not real. Haters will say it's planned. This is one way that you can test who is an NPC and who is not an NPC. Who has been enlightened, who is awake, and who's not. Here comes another one. Gotta go.
It kind of reminds me of like a game where the textures don't load in until you get to a certain part of the map.
The airplane lady.
Those people aren't real?
Yeah. No one's been able to track her down, right?
No.
She just popped up this past week on TMZ.
It's basically her just saying, I apologize, I shouldn't have done that. When I saw it, I was like, that doesn't look like her.
We didn't know who she was for the first couple weeks. Like, they couldn't even find a name or anything. She started a new Twitter account when she posted this video. The first person she followed was TMZ. So people started doing like some AI face detection. There's this guy that does it online professionally, and he says you get a score of 0.6 or below, it is the same person. He put the videos that were on the plane, videos that were outside the plane of the real Tiffany.
And it's not her.
1.2. Guys, like, I was not expecting this. I was like, actually, he's like, this makes me really interested.
Wow.
Then one other dude goes on and checks her IP address that she sent out from the video. Okay. Guess where it tracked to?
TMZ headquarters.
Texas. Away from the White House in Washington, D.C.
Stop it right now!
So did she see something, and then they put in a double to be like, this was so embarrassing.
Yeah.
You know what?
Dang, she's even verified on Twitter? How is she verified? What did she do?
The early bird theory in the context of extraterrestrials suggests that humanity might be one of the first intelligent species in our galaxy, or even the universe. As a result, we haven't encountered other civilizations because they simply don't exist yet, or are only beginning to emerge. Perhaps Earth had a unique opportunity to be early, and only the future will reveal whether we are truly alone. The Great Filter theory suggests there is a nearly insurmountable barrier in the evolution of life that prevents most forms from becoming advanced, spacefaring civilizations. This filter could occur at any stage, from the origin of life to the development of advanced technology. If it is behind us, advanced civilizations are rare due to early evolutionary challenges. Zoo theory suggests that extraterrestrial civilizations deliberately avoid contact with humanity, observing us from a distance as if we were animals in a zoo. Advanced aliens might choose non-interference to allow humanity to evolve naturally, or to avoid disrupting our cultural or technological development. The Dark Forest theory proposes that civilizations in the universe avoid contact due to the fear of being destroyed. Every civilization sees others as potential threats and hides its existence to survive. Any attempt to communicate could lead to annihilation, as other civilizations might destroy a new life form before it becomes too powerful. The universe is like a dark forest, where all civilizations remain hidden for safety.
Could you guys just imagine what that would be like, though? Like, seeing what other people from a different planet or galaxy would even look like? What if they're just like us? How do you guys feel about that? Do you guys think there is life out there with as big as our universe is?
You like it? Pretty good.
I never heard something like that before.
Really?
Yeah.
That's pretty good, though, isn't it?
Yeah.
Got a nice
Bro,
little,
leave
nice
her
little beat.
alone.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm not gonna lie, I just started drinking these and these are actually pretty good. Especially the flavor, what is it? Sour green apple? It's actually my current favorite. You guys should try it out.
This shit is coming to life right before our eyes. Watch this.
Oh, I hope I don't get copyright.
This is huge. A drone, you know, a flying middle of nowhere, dropping off thousands of these. I have no idea what it says.
Death to America. Death to America. I don't know what the rest of this means, but this part it definitely means death to America.
Primary client works in the defense sector. I spent a lot of time studying the cost-benefit analysis of military campaigns. There was one program in particular that terrified my client the most. A three-stage maneuver that could topple a country's government from within. First stage was isolation. Disable their communication and transportation. Make the target as deaf, dumb, and paralyzed as possible. Set them up for the second stage. Synchronized chaos. Terrorize them with covert attacks and misinformation. Overwhelming their defense capabilities, leaving their weapon systems vulnerable to extremists in our own military. Without a clear enemy or motive, people would start turning on each other. Done successfully, third stage would happen on its own. A coup d'etat. Some war.
We've had over 15 plane crashes this year alone, and it's not even January. The annual rate for plane crashes is on average about 60, and we're gonna triple that at this rate. Remember in the movie when all the planes started crashing because the communication and navigation systems were all down? And it also doesn't help that Trump recently just said this at the World Economic Forum.
And I said, no, I'm not kidding. You don't have to hook into the grid, which is old and, could be taken out. If it's taken out, they wouldn't have any way to get any electricity.
Now, I don't like the way he was saying could be and if. It's like he was giving us a warning. That's why everybody needs to have a backup power source, and that's why you need a solar power bank. This one comes with an inbuilt compass, mag wireless lightning fast charging, and cable adapter cords to charge our everyday devices. It has USB and USB-C ports and 2 huge LED lights to have an emergency mode and SOS mode. If there's no electricity, this solar power bank charges by being set in the sun, and if there's no sun, it has a hand crank so you can power it up yourself. But don't be the person that saw this video, didn't think they needed it, and then you end up in a situation where you desperately wish you had it.
So it looks like we're in stage 2 right now. Everybody need to get your passports and get up on out of here before it's too late. I'm not gonna lie, anytime I'm on TikTok now, it seems like everything's an ad and they're always trying to sell me something.
I just made a discovery that will shock you to your core. All of humanity is about to stand in awe at this final moment. And no, I'm not exaggerating, but I'll let you be the judge of that. Did you know that life as you know it right now was manifested in the 40s and in the 30s, even in the 20s, of satanic rituals done in the California desert by some of the biggest names in the world? Walt Disney, L. Ron Hubbard, Jack Parsons, the father of our modern rocket technology, which he got from a weird source, by the way. We'll get into that. And so many more, because the secret is not so secret, even though you don't know what it is. Aleister Crowley, Walt Disney, Jack Parsons, they were all friends. Half of them worked for our own government. But what in the world were they doing? I had to block out a word right here. A word that has to do with intimacy. They were using intimate rituals to do Babylonian workings, to bring forth a moonchild to rule the world. A moonchild conceived of nothing but witchcraft. Literal demons and fallen angels were talking with these people. And they recorded every single word. And this moonchild, he will enter the stage, given power as the chosen one, and he will rule with a hand of liberty. But we'll get back to that. So first off, how was Jack Parsons able to get this technology that none of us ever knew? Well, Jack Parsons learned a whole bunch from Aleister Crowley, who they call the Beast. He was also the first person to come in contact with a Grey that he actually summoned. And all of these different guys were opening portals in the desert. When did the Area 51 thing happen? After they were opening these portals. These Greys have a lot more to do with everything than you really know. And I did tell you that Jack Parsons was working for the US government. Meanwhile, in talks with demons and fallen angels and doing this intimate magic in the middle of the desert. So why were the government's fingers in this? Because the government was awaiting a savior. And their savior looks like a man, but he has a very, very, very old spirit. Like most other visionaries, these people get their information and their technology from divination, higher sources bigger than they are. They go to energetic ley lines, they draw sigils, and they do magic incantations, and they summon devils. The funniest part about it is most of the world thinks that demons and fallen angels don't exist, but the highest up in the government talks to them and they have documented it. And it is really crazy the way it all connects. Like we have Dr. Werner von Braun, a tale of Project Mars, right? Of course, being the L, like the Elon, at Mars. And of course, we have that same guy being at a very high place in this world right now. But this is not about him. But I know you are dying to hear who this moonchild is. So let's get back to the Babylonian working. The moonchild was a thought conceived from the devil himself to Aleister Crowley. And this Babylonian working was basically the final key to get everything to lay out perfectly. The Babalon working, not the moonchild, was a set of rituals taking place from January to March 1946. It was a closing ceremony, if you will, for what was to come and what may be here now, where they documented how they conjured up these demons and these spirits, what they said, and all of that stuff. And these kings of darkness would literally speak to these people, Jack Parsons and all of them, and they wrote down what they said. Therefore I, the Antichrist, call upon the chosen and the elect upon all men, come forth now in the name of liberty, that we may be forever, get rid of the tyranny of the Black Brotherhood. Get rid of the tyranny of the Black Brotherhood, what is that? Well, the Antichrist spirit that's talking to him told him already, it's Christianity. What a mighty fine inversion, isn't it? Their entire goal with the moonshot, with everything, was to put an end to Christianity.